This is the Cool Kids Film Club podcast. Watch films with us.
Oh, well, look at this. We've got the star of the film right here doing the podcast. None of that Trevor crap anymore. That's good.
I am not Robert. Are you saying that all tires look the same to you?
I didn't say you were Robert. I'm saying you played Robert.
No, I didn't.
Then yeah, you all look similar.
You fucking what? How dare you?
I'm a rubberist.
Welcome to the Cool Kids Film Club podcast. I'm a tire, and joining me this week is Gavin Rye. Gavin Rye, say hi.
Hello, it's good to be on with you, Tyre. Is that your name?
I have never been given a human name. Would you like to name me?
Cecil.
Cecil.
Yeah.
Okay, I am Cecil the Tire. How have you been?
Oh, I've been alright, been a bit tired. I get tired a lot. Very tired.
I've never heard that joke before.
I didn't even intend to do it until I said it, and then I realised how funny it was.
Ha ha ha, you are hilarious.
How are you? What have you been up to?
I cannot complain. I did a sponsored walk this week in aid of worn tires that get used and then discarded by ignorant, thoughtless car users.
Alright. Cool.
Do you own a car?
Yeah.
I hope you look after the tires. They have feelings, you know.
You know, I've almost never had to have a new tyre on any of my cars. Stick with them, I do. Love a tyre.
That is very good. So, this week's movie was chosen by a man that thinks getting a tire to host a podcast is a hilarious idea, Trevor Webb. Should we cut to him now?
Sure, let's.
Okay, but you need to do the finger point thing. I do not have arms.
To Trevor.
Hey guys, sorry if you can't hear me. I'm in a jacuzzi here on holiday as a celebration because my film was chosen. The film I picked, I'll keep it quick because you probably can't hear me too well. The film I picked was Rubber from 2010. It's a great film, I hope you both enjoy it, especially Tyre, I think you'll love it. But Gavin, you're a goose if you don't like it. The bubbles have gone off. Great. So enjoy, watch it, and I'll be back next week. Bye.
So, as Trevor Webb has just stated, this week's film is Rubber. Released in 2010, directed by Quintin Dupieux and starring my hero, Robert the Tire. But before we discuss the film in detail, we should warn you.
Oi, you! Do not watch this podcast if you have not already seen the film. It's a spoiler review. It contains spoilers. It's simple, really. If you want to come back on films, that's up to you. But don't watch this podcast until you've seen the film. Alright. Cool. Cheers, mate.
So, Gavin, tell us about the film.
So, Rubber is about a killer tyre that comes to life and has telepathic powers. It can blow people and animals up. Well, we can blow animals completely up and people seem heads exclusively. There's a bit of some meta film within a film type garbage going on.
Garbage.
Yeah. I'd like to start by saying, when I first saw Rubber, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
What about now?
I thoroughly unenjoyed it.
How long ago did you see it for the first time?
When it came out, so 10 years, 11 years ago.
Okay, what has changed? Why are you now dead inside?
Because I think I realised there's no plot or anything actually to it. It's a 20-minute film stretched to 85 minutes.
I disagree with that quite strongly. Obviously, as a tyre, I found it quite nice to be represented finally on screen. Usually in films you get white middle-aged rich men playing the parts of tyres, so it was nice to see an actual tyre being cast. And someone with real talent and charisma. Robert, if you're watching this, I thought you were fantastic. And I just felt like it was an excellent film. I liked it.
Well, I did not, and one of the many reasons, or the biggest reason, is there's absolutely no plot whatsoever beyond the whole bit at the beginning with no reason is just an excuse to put any old crap on film, and no one can ever actually say anything bad about it because I've just explained there's no reason to it. No reason. It's almost like having a film starting off by saying, look, it's going to be crap. This will be crap. And then when it is crap, you can't say anything bad about it because it was meant to be crap, and it's achieved exactly what it wanted to achieve. So there we go. That's Rubber. Cool. What are we doing next week?
Well, before we get on to next week, without any spoilers, could you explain the plot to me of Halloween? Or Friday the 13th? Or pretty much any slasher film?
You can't name 4 or 5 films and ask me to give you the plot for all of them.
Yes, I can, and summing them all up is relatively simple. There's a guy going around killing people.
Yeah, and there are people who have things going on in their lives within this. We'll go with Halloween. So Laurie is doing some babysitting, and then the killer comes after her, and she's attempting to stop him. But here we just got there's a cop attempts to stop the tyre a bit by chasing it, and then there's a whole bit about let's make a doll with some explosives, but that doesn't even work. Like some setup for nothing. We'll just go in with some guns then.
I'm going to stop you right there, Gavin. I asked you to tell me the plot of Halloween, and you told me more about the things that happen in Rubber.
Yeah, because this is a podcast about Rubber.
But we're comparing the complexities of the two films, and according to you there was more to mention about Rubber than there was with Halloween?
Well, no, it's that we're talking about Rubber.
I love Halloween, and Friday the 13th, but I think with any slasher film, they're all relatively thin on story. I don't often go into a slasher film wanting story and character development. I want a threatening killer and some decent death scenes, which this has with the heads blowing up. The kills in this were a bit repetitive, but they looked good.
Disagree. They don't look very good. They're quite badly done. I thought it was quite CG heavy. Oh, Quintin's quite disappointed with them as well. Apparently he wanted to do everything practical, and the only things that just didn't work on set were the head explosions, and he had to add CGI, and apparently still wasn't overly happy with the final outcome.
I usually hate CGI, but I thought they looked good.
So yeah, you bringing up slashers and the characters, at least they have characters with the basics, like, I'm getting laid, I want to get laid, I'm the jock, I'm the slutty girl, I'm the final girl. I mean, one of the main girls in this is Sheila. Tell me a bit about Sheila.
She has a nice bum, and in the film she is on a cross-country road trip to visit her estranged father who she has not seen since her 4th birthday. As a result, she has unresolved daddy issues and often makes poor life choices like taking showers with her hotel door open. Her father is dying of cancer and she hopes to see him one last time before he dies. In her spare time, she enjoys swimming and reading pop culture autobiographies and watching Let's Slug It Out on YouTube.
I think you're a liar.
I am reading between the lines, but that is what I took from what I saw.
There's nothing about her character, just like there's nothing about any of the characters. I mean, you got the accountant who's brought all these people along to watch the thing for no reason, and he just poisons. It's just an excuse to put any old crap in. The whole poisoning everybody, and you can't argue it because no reason, just shit thrown. He talks in an interview on the Blu-ray. He talks about how he wrote the entire film in like a month, like completely finished the script. I'm surprised it took that long to write just any old crap for no reason.
To be fair, Kevin Smith writes his scripts in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but I mean, one, that probably shows the quality of him recently, and two, look at how he talks. He's just he's got a mind that goes a mile a minute, but there's no reason for it. And
Stop me if I'm wrong, Gavin, but I've heard a rumor about you. Apparently you do not like the majority of mass-produced churned-out Hollywood movies? Superhero movies, etc.
I will stop you there because no, that's not true. I'm a big fan of the Fast and Furious series. I used to be a bit of a snob about things like that, but no, I love the Fast and Furious films now.
What about superhero movies?
I don't hate superhero films, but yeah, that's just, I hate superheroes. I think they're annoying bastards.
Except for Thanos, of course. He is great.
Yeah, he's about the best thing to ever happen to a certain. I like Ed the Duck. I've mentioned that before. He's the best Marvel superhero.
Sure. I enjoy most superhero movies, but I don't feel there are enough tire characters.
Guess no, sure. I guess you need to watch the Transformers movies for that.
Yes, but even then, we're only used as part of a larger entity. We're never the focus of the story.
Sure. Got no. Yeah, I don't know what to say about tires.
That reaction is unfortunately far too common. Do you think tires deserve equal pay?
No. I'm not going along with it anymore. I don't think tires deserve anything.
What?
Should be just burnt when they're finished and done with. Just melt them down, reuse them. Who cares?
I care, and I think the tires on your car will care. I also think Robert will care, and you've seen what Robert can do. I don't think you should make him angry.
Yeah, well, Robert did one crap film in 2010, and from what I can tell, he's not been in anything else since. Fuck him.
I am disgusted with your attitude, Gavin. Trevor Webb told me you were a nice person that was on the side of the tire resistance.
Well, Trevor Webb is full of shit, if you don't mind me saying.
I disagree completely. I have always found Trevor to be a delight. Apart from one time when I caught him clubbing baby seals. Anyway, getting back to the film, what did you think of the opening scene, where the film opens with a car swerving left and right, knocking over chairs as it goes? Then a cop gets out from the boot of the car, gets a glass of water from the driver, then walks towards the camera giving us a speech about why things happen, or don't happen, in movies.
No fucking reason.
Did you not find this even a little bit clever?
Not clever, no. There's nothing clever about it, but the first, even the second time round, I was still on board at this point. I quite liked the chair bit. I hadn't remembered that from the last one. I quite enjoyed the absurdity of that. I didn't mind the speech, especially the way it kind of subverts from him thinking that he's talking directly to you, the audience, and then seeing that he is talking to an audience, but not you. That was all right. Yeah, I didn't mind that.
Okay, but what did you take from the speech? You say it's not clever, but what do you think the filmmaker was trying to say? Was he just saying random shit? Or was there a point?
I think the point is to justify the rest of his nonsensical, quite boring film, to be honest. I don't know if you've seen any of his other films. He's made quite a few. I've only seen this and Wrong, and hated Wrong. Like Wrong is, I don't know. He's made a few, so I don't know what the rest are like. But he seems to have this style of just put any old crap in and call yourself a surrealist, but it doesn't work for me.
You're a hard person to please. This was the director's second feature film. His first film was called Steak from 2007, and apparently that film did not do too well.
Yeah, he talks about how he snuck into the cinema to check out the audience's reaction on one of the times it was playing, and there was absolutely nobody in there.
Yes, I heard about that too. I believe it was his experiences with that film and the fact that audiences didn't want to watch his outside-the-box movie that led him to make Rubber. Almost as a big fuck you to Hollywood and to the film industry in general. I think it's also safe to assume that he had some resentment for the audiences that mindlessly flock to the latest blockbusters and prefer movies with little to no thinking. Do you know what I mean?
Yes and no. I mean, I know what you mean, but I don't think there's any thinking here, really. I mean, what, that whole Hollywood thing, does that need thinking? That, they're all at the end of the film there to attack Hollywood. There's no thinking involved there. It's a very on-the-nose, obvious statement.
Yes, but the whole film is about that, not just the end. The final shot of the army of tyres heading to Hollywood points it out blatantly, but the entire movie is about it. The audience in the film and the viewing experience they're promised shows the way that Hollywood treats audience members. Lying to them, promising them a brilliant show, and delivering nothing but a disease-ridden turkey that they just lap up thoughtlessly.
I don't know. What do you think Wings Hauser represents then? Man in wheelchair.
He's what drives the story forward. I obviously love Robert, but the man in wheelchair was arguably the protagonist of the movie. Without him, Hollywood would win. He is the one demanding more and saying, no, we're better than this and we deserve to actually see something of substance.
You're basically saying that Dupieux made a crap film on purpose then, with no plot.
No, I am saying that Hollywood mostly make mindless movies that require very little thinking, and that's not always a terrible thing. I like a lot of those movies. But Rubber is a film poking fun out of that. If the movie within the movie had ended where the people in charge had intended, with everyone being poisoned, then that would have been shit. But with man in wheelchair surviving and the interactions that he has, demanding an actual ending, makes them realize that, oh shit, now we actually have to make a proper film.
So why don't they?
They do, and that ending was brilliant. Let's jump straight to the end as you've brought it up already, the mannequin packed with explosives that didn't work. That was Hollywood looking for the quickest, easiest way to end the film. Then as it didn't work, we get Lieutenant Chad just walk in with a gun and shoot it. Signifying that Hollywood will never change.
And then it's just a tricycle, because that's weird.
What is your problem with it being a tricycle?
It's just more like, gonna be weird again. No reason.
Sigh. Lieutenant Chad is Hollywood Gavin. He's saying there is no reason because he doesn't want the viewers to want a reason. We as the viewer, or the handicapped man in the wheelchair, we demand reasons, and we're saying, no, this has got to serve some purpose. We're going to stick around and you have to finish the show and give us what you promised us.
Don't know. I'm as bored now as I was for the film. That's the big problem as well. It's an hour 20 something, 25. God, it drags. It's so boring by the middle because we're seeing a tyre go along, blow someone's head up, goes along, blow someone's head up. It's complete. It drags. It rolls.
I mean, I've made it clear already, but you keep repeating yourself. So will I. I loved it. It was the complete opposite of boring for me. In fact, I loved every second of it. I loved that we see Robert's first steps, or roles, and then follow him on his journey of self-discovery as he encounters, and murders, everything that he rolls into. Plastic bottles and scorpions are no trouble at all for Robert, and he clearly has a taste for murder and chaos, even at this young age. And, for a film about a rubber tire, I was shocked at how much emotion and character the film was able to portray.
What, from Robert?
Yeah.
I like probably the best bit of the film is like his first steps as he's learning to roll. But it is a short film idea stretched out. There's a good 20-minute short in this film.
I disagree. I'd like a sequel.
Christ.
Robert then finds out that he can blow stuff up with his mind. Where were you when you first discovered that you had telekinesis?
I don't have it.
I thought everyone has telekinesis.
No, so only tyres.
Well, I haven't got it yet, but I assume that I will.
The thing is, how come you're a tyre?
What do you mean?
Well, he isn't a tyre per se, is he, Robert?
Explain.
Well, because at the end he just possesses a tricycle, so he's just an entity. He just happened to be in a tyre at that point. So what are you about then, Cecil?
I was born this way, and I've never questioned it. I just woke up, learned to roll, learned to crush a few things, and I got frustrated, but I've not been able to blow anything up yet.
Yet you admire people who just become tyres for, what is the timeline of the film? Is it all in one day?
No, it is set across multiple days, I believe.
Regardless, not very long. He didn't spend much of his lifetime as a tyre, and then he discarded that, went elsewhere when he had to. So why are you finding him such a hero?
He didn't have much of a choice.
Huh.
He was shot in cold blood by Lieutenant Chad.
Yeah, but he had opportunities to then take over other tyre. He went past loads of tyres that then came alive. Why didn't he become a tyre if being tyre is so great? He clearly didn't like being a tyre. He hates tyres.
I think you'll find that when murdered. Which is what he was. And forgive my upcoming tangent, but us tyres don't get enough press about this. A lot of tyres are murdered every day, often by cops like in this movie. And yet we never hear about it. It's never on the news, and these murderers get away with it. It is disgusting, and scary as hell. I hope to one day marry Robert, but how can I bring baby tyres into a world where police, our sworn protectors, are out there killing us? Anyway, I digress. When murdered, you don't have a choice in what your soul transfers to. It will go to whatever is closest. He couldn't just then choose to become a tyre at a later point. He would have to be murdered again, and there weren't any cops around.
Fair enough, but then why do you care about him being a tyre? He just happened to be near the tyre at the time.
No, I believe that, like me, he would have started as a tyre. When we see him take those first steps and witness him discover his powers, it was clear to me that he was doing those things for the first time. In my opinion, he is not a murderer trapped inside a tyre's body. He is simply a tyre that likes to murder things.
All right. Well, I didn't think he was like some human entity. I thought it was, otherworldly, what's not unnatural, what's
Supernatural.
unexplained. Supernatural, yeah, that's it.
So, using his telekinesis takes a lot out of Robert, and he takes a little nap. Upon awakening, he comes across a rabbit, his first living target that he can not just roll over. He has already crushed bottles and a scorpion, but he didn't seem to get much out of that. But when he kills that rabbit, he was alive. Did you notice the song and how he was metaphorically skipping down the road?
Well, that's because that's when he realizes, that his power can kill living people.
Yes, precisely.
Because, he killed the scorpion, but he only ran over the scorpion.
That is true.
There's good music in the film, I'll give it that, from the director, who's I should mention he's best known as Mr. Wazoo, who is most famous for Flat Beat. Flat Eric?
Oh really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
He was a musician long before he was a filmmaker.
So, after making the rabbit go boom boom, Robert encounters Sheila for the first time. Sheila is the girl who is on her way from a snail wrestling convention to visit her estranged father that we mentioned earlier.
No, it's the girl who's got absolutely no character whatsoever, just like everyone else in the film. You remember the one?
Oh you joker you. What do you think Robert thought when he saw her? Why did he stop the car? Did he want to kill her at this point?
Yeah, probably kill her.
Do you think?
He's killing everything, why wouldn't he kill her?
I think I agree at this point. But then he is murder blocked by a guy that drives by and he has to follow them for a bit. He gets his revenge on the man by blowing his face off, then finds the girl who is in her hotel room, with the door open, taking a shower. And I felt that his intentions towards her changed at this point. He clearly liked what he saw and he wasn't solely motivated by death and destruction anymore. And this is what I meant about Robert giving such a great performance. Us tyres do not have faces. We can't even really use body language, yet the range that Robert shows in this film is insane. This truly was an Oscar-worthy performance. But anyway, I felt that this shower scene showed another side to Robert, and I feel from this point on, he wanted more from life than just killing.
More from life than just killing when he's literally just discovered killing. And
Yes, he has just been born and he's going around killing everyone, thinking that this is as good as life gets. What could be better than blowing up rabbits in the faces of humans? Then he sees this lady, who looks pretty good naked, and he's all like, oh, wait a moment, I like this feeling. And then we get the maid scene, where the maid comes in and Robert is in the shower. Did you not take this as his attempt at seduction?
what, him in the shower?
Yes, was he trying to seduce the maid?
I took that as him just emulating what he's seen.
I don't know for sure, but I think he wanted the maid to join him in the shower. He didn't blow Sheila's face off when he had the chance, and he didn't immediately blow up the maid either. He gave her the opportunity to join him, and only blew her up once she had rejected him and thrown him outside.
Well, I just think he saw the girl in the shower, so he went in the shower. He's young, he doesn't know anything, so it's like, oh, that's what they do, let's try that.
Either way, I wish I had been the one to walk in on him. I definitely would not have thrown him out. Anyway, you've not liked Rubber, I think you've made that quite clear, and I'm about to bring up my first issue with the film right now. 58 minutes in, when the accountant guy in the suit brings the food up to man in wheelchair and he is begging him to eat it. The man in wheelchair refuses, so the accountant eats it himself, and dies. I didn't like that.
Goes with the rest of the film, no reason.
I disagree. Even in a film that sets out no reason as a premise, it still exists within its own world of rules.
And its rule being no reason.
Yes, but up is still up, down is still down, they still require air to breathe. And they still die if their heads explode. The accountant eating the food that he brought up there himself that he knew was poisoned was just silly.
Okay. That's how I felt about most of the film. Welcome to my side for a bit.
Yay.
I mean, it's a bit like there's a bit where a kid puts a dead bird on a pizza and the dead bird sticks out so much that no one would ever eat that pizza. No one would see that and think, oh, that must be some meat or some extra toppings. I think it still had a feather on it.
Yes, I did think the same, but it is conceivable that a child would do it that badly, so it wasn't something I took issue with. Then, after the scene with the accountant eating his own poisoned food, we get what I can only describe as the most harrowing scene in cinema history, where we get the genocide of hundreds of innocent tyres in a large tire fire. In a previous episode of this podcast, you reviewed a film that I believe you suggested, called Come and See?
Yes.
There's a large fire scene in that, but I found this scene far more harrowing.
Wow. Do you think you're made up of completely new rubber?
What do you mean?
You are probably made up of the melted parts of your ancestors.
Oh,
I hate to break it to you, but that's quite possibly how you are made.
it's not something I have ever thought about.
Don't you like the idea of new tyres?
I prefer the idea of looking after the tires we already have. The sponsored walk that I did was in aid of worn tires and repairing them in order to give them longer lives.
But there comes a time when they're beyond repair. I had a flat tyre on my bus recently. I drive a bus for a living. That's what I do. And that tyre there was no repairing that. It was shredded. What do I do with that tyre, Cecil?
Well, it sounds like you should have looked after it better so that it didn't get shredded.
It's just on my bus, innit? It did a shit job. It was a shit tyre.
I've heard about this. The workman always blaming his tools.
But you are made up of the death of millions.
That may be so, but the only reason they died in the first place was because of people like you, overusing them and not patching them up when they start to wear thin.
So should we not use tyres?
People can use tires if they do so responsibly and with consent. And then if they die because their owners haven't taken proper care of them, then I see nothing wrong with reusing their organs and their body parts. I believe even you humans do this?
Mm-hmm.
When people die, you transfer livers and other organs. My argument is that we should take better care of the tires and humans whilst they are with us. If anyone watching has been affected by tire abuse, or if you suspect that a neighbor or friend may be neglecting their tires, then please do call the Tire Protection Agency on 000-8473-8473.
Sure, if you want. I'll start doing that.
Well, it may not have affected you, but this fire genocide clearly had an impact on Robert, because after witnessing this, he goes on a 3-day killing spree. And I suppose this is another small negative about the film. I would have liked to have seen it.
It'd just been more of the same. We'd seen it 5, 6, 7 times before in the movie. Didn't need to see more of it.
I don't know about that. Throughout the film we see a lot of emotion and different sides of Robert's character, but we never really see his rage side. It would have been nice to have some angry music and him just showing no mercy, killing multiple people indiscriminately in one big montage scene.
If you want, but I think it would have just obviously it would have made the film longer, which would have meant more watching it. You know what? I didn't dislike it as much as I do now. I'm actually talking about it. I'm thinking of lowering my score.
Well, there is apparently no accounting for taste, or lack of. Moving on, we then get the scene where Lieutenant Chad and Sheila set up a trap and try to blow up the tire with the doll packed with explosives that you mentioned earlier. Then the last survivor comes down to the van and knocks on the door.
Wings Hauser, the man, the legend.
Is that his character name or his real name?
It's his real name. He's just down as wheelchair guy.
Very few of the characters in this film seem to be given actual names. Regardless, I enjoyed this scene. Wheelchair guy was representing the real-world audience that expects more, saying no, this bullshit that you're spoon-feeding us, Mr. Hollywood, isn't good enough.
So you're saying that the film was shit?
Sigh. No. That is not what I am saying. No.
It's you literally say, oh, look, you've made a shit film, Hollywood or whatever. And now just because I'm addressing that it is a shit film, it makes it all right. It's good.
I feel I need to stress this again. It's not a shit film.
But you just said it was.
If something's poking fun out of something, then it's allowed to be it. I feel the sarcasm and satire has gone over your head somewhat.
Sarcasm never goes over my head. I'm the king of sarcasm.
I think that is debatable. So, Robert comes out and they quite meanly taunt him into blowing up the doll. He does as he is asked to do, but it doesn't set off the fuse. So Lieutenant Chad walks into Robert's hotel room and shoots him repeatedly in the face, then comes out and throws Robert's body on the floor.
And bye.
Before he turns into a tricycle or anything like that, were you not just a little bit impressed with the audacity? The slap in the face terrible ending, that is so terrible that it's good?
No, it's just terrible because it's terrible. I mean, he became the audience then. Like, oh, let's just get this shit over with. Bang, he's dead. The end. Let's get this crap done.
No, 9, no way, get fucked. Nah 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 nah, nah 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 nah, nah 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 nah, nah 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 nah. Batman. And then obviously we get the twist that Robert's not dead. His soul has just transferred into the body of a tricycle, which we have already mentioned. The tricycle rolls out of the hotel, once again filled with rage, then blows up wheelchair guy, which was actually quite sad.
Completely blows him up.
Yeah, well that's what happens when cops go around killing innocent tires. The blood of wheelchair guy is on that cop's hands. If there was a sequel, and you were in charge, and you could take it in any direction that you wanted, what would you have Robert do next?
I don't know. I'd have him make a film. He'd become a big Hollywood star. But then, no, he would become a struggling actor, and the film would be mostly about his struggle to find a reasonably priced apartment in LA.
That sounds to me like the kind of shit that I guess that you normally watch. It doesn't sound entertaining at all.
That's the joke. But I'm glad you explained it for everyone.
I'm sorry, I guess that it went over the top of my tire body. I feel we should also mention that the budget was only $500,000.
It's a lot more than I expected. I mean, they got some reasonably well-known actors, so I guess it just mainly went to them.
Yes, but it also looks and sounds great. That costs money.
Look, yeah, but it looks great, but we've already established it was made on a camera that clearly was picked for its cheapness. £500,000. Well, I mean, there aren't any locations really. It's all outside a motel room. Not a big amount of effects. I know they made a remote control tire, but...
Whoa. Remote control tire?
Yeah, it's time to break it to you. I was watching the making of on the Blu-ray, and yes, it was a remote control, which was actually CGI'd out. They found it very difficult to hide the mechanism, so it was quite often CGI'd out, or it was just maneuvered off camera by somebody.
What are you saying about Robert?
Robert doesn't exist. It was just an inanimate tire.
That makes no sense. Why wouldn't they just cast a real tire?
Because he doesn't actually care about tires.
I refuse to believe this. I know in my heart that Robert is real. Maybe, for his own protection, because they knew evil scientists would come after him, he chose to pretend to be inanimate.
Maybe. We'll go with that.
You laugh now, but you will see, and then you will feel silly. So, isn't there another guy that joins us at some point?
Oh yeah, he lives in Trevor's shed. Young Keir.
Oh, what does he do?
Well, he comes along and he talks about the movie a bit in a well-produced segment. And I think he likes this film, so he'll be on your side.
He sounds like a man with taste.
Doesn't he just?
So, how do we cut to him?
I think I just go to Keir. Like that. Is that it?
In the other episodes, there has always been a cheer.
Oh, yeah. You can do it this time, but I'll say it and you do the chair. Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Good. Give a cheer for Keir.
Wahoo. Yay. Hashtag jumps for joy.
2. Keir.
Rubber, released in 2010, Quintin Dupieux's absurd satirical tale of a killer tyre on a mission of destruction, wrapped up in a commentary of the modern cinema's audience's desires, consumptions and judgments, has one of the greatest openings this century. A car trundles down a dirt track, knocking over empty chairs, which may or may not represent
absolutely nothing.
Stephen Spinella emerges from the car boot and doing his very best Gary Cole impression and instructs us to leave all our possible preconceived notions of narratives and reasoning at the gate. Why?
No reason.
This monologue is just incredible, and you could do a lot worse than learning this for any sort of audition for drama or film school. And if you don't agree with me, well, you're just thinking too hard. And that's the thing with this movie. If you start trying to explain it, if you start trying to dissect it, if you find any fault in it whatsoever, you have fallen foul of its entire non-purpose. The movie can't be critiqued, and it's already explained to you why. The second you say, hang on, you've lost. The film has won. And if you allow it to simply be, well, then you're as bad as the audience within the film. Have I lost you? Look, it really is entirely paradoxical, and quite frankly, excellent for it. I have heard people saying it's not as clever as it thinks it is, but really, it doesn't think it is. It's just tricked you into believing that it thinks it is. Much like the tyre, the film's protagonist, it doesn't think. And if you think you don't like this film, really, this film has won that opinion off you, and this only enhances the futility of the battle against it. Of course you shouldn't like a movie with
no reason,
with no purpose. That's a sensible reaction to have. Well done. The movie has just won again. And if, like me, you think it is an exceptional piece of avant-garde French absurdist cinema masquerading as trashy throwback B-movie, with lashings of dry wit, conversely overblown nuance, and some of the most gorgeous shots in horror history, well then, the film has won again. The only difference is, well, you have too. Upon first viewing, this movie jumped straight into my top 10 movies of all time. Now, granted, that might have been a bit of a knee-jerk overreaction or exaggeration, but frankly, it's because I hadn't seen a film like this ever before. I was so utterly surprised by it. But now that it's settled down in my memory, I can't really argue the case for top 10. However, sitting pretty at 11 or 12, well, you can bet your elastic polymers it is. After the opening, I repeat, awesome monologue. The camera pans through a graveyard of destroyed odes to past fads. Old speakers, roller skates, Ernie from Sesame Street, a Commodore Amiga 500. I think you'll find, before it rests its gaze upon our synthetic protagonist for the first time. Half submerged in dirt, it wriggles free and climbs to its tread and begins to roll, unstably and cautiously, like a child learning to walk or a drunk awakening from a stupor. Now, whether these tributes to days gone past are there to serve as a metaphor for the lasting damage of man-made plastics, or the continued infatuation with advancing technology, or our fleeting addictions to fashion, I really couldn't tell you. More than likely, there is absolutely no reason for them whatsoever. Remember that. Every time you think there might be a message in here, the movie has point blank told you that there probably isn't. Forget about it. Just move on. Be like the tyre. Roll with it. Soon our circular anti-hero is stopped in its tracks by a plastic bottle. Damn those plastics! After a few failed attempts to roll over it, it finally does. And with this, our ring-shaped friend realises it has the power to quash anything in its path. So when it gets to a living opponent, acknowledging the power that it yields, it wastes no time in dispatching with it. However, then it comes to a glass bottle. This time, when the tyre rolls over it, it doesn't smash. So, the tyre gets angry. It learns to get angry. I mean, this is a story of humanity in like 2 minutes. Or not, this could mean
absolutely nothing.
Now, I'm going to stop myself from venturing any further into studious analysis of this movie, as the whole damn purpose of the movie is to encourage you to do exactly that, even though you've been told very succinctly and on multiple occasions that you really shouldn't. Suffice to say, this movie is utterly unique in its approach at storytelling, and where you find yourself with it will come from precisely who you identify with most in the movie. Are you living the movie? Are you investigating the movie? Are you watching the movie, critiquing the movie? Are you ignoring the movie? All these potential standpoints are addressed within its running time. And this movie may well be making a commentary on you, just as you attempt to make a commentary on it. These opinions we may well have may well turn to face us. And as the movie maybe or maybe not insinuates at the end, these opinions may well take over Hollywood. Or maybe even destroy it. Or maybe
Absolutely nothing.
will change. And we will, like the sheriff in the film, have to dejectedly continue with this whole charade perpetually and tediously until death may offer us some small respite. This movie is freaking excellent. Or maybe it's shit. Whatever it is that for absolutely
No reason.
I mean, why are you watching it? It's a film about a psychotic killer tyre. You can't get more pointless and daft than that. What did you expect? Oh, and in the credits, the tyre is named Robert. Why?
No reason.
Yeah, maybe it is top 10. Laters.
So, that was Keir Mills. Why couldn't I have co-hosted this with him?
Dunno.
He clearly knows a good movie when he sees one.
Yeah, he loved it, didn't he? Oh, big fan of the Rubber.
So, we're almost done, but first we need to give our final thoughts.
Yep, final thoughts.
I feel you should go first so that we can end on a positive beat.
So, yeah, Rubber, 2010. To be honest, it should be something that I really enjoy, and I did first time I saw it. I like films about inanimate objects killing people. I like Deathbed, The Bed That Eats. I like Refrigerator, about a killer refrigerator. But, yeah, this didn't work. I like surrealist films. I love surreal stuff. I'm a big David Lynch fan. And like I said, I liked it originally, and I don't often rewatch films, which is quite bizarre considering there are a shitload of films behind me. But I'm not a big rewatcher just because I think I'll probably die having not seen a lot of films I want to see anyway. So why rewatch something? So it's clear I should have left this where it was so that I'd constantly be going, oh yeah, Rubber, that was a good film. Because watching it now, it is not a good film. It's a film that drags even at an hour and 22 minutes, I wrote here. As much as I quite enjoy the whole no reason thing, it's, you know, it's quite an idea, but it just becomes an excuse to put any old crap that first comes into your head onto film and kind of makes it almost review proof. It's like, well, you didn't like it because it was random and crap. Well, I told you it was random and, well, not crap, but I told you it was random, so you can't not like it for that. It's just not an excuse. And there's no characters. None of the characters are attempting anything. I mean, this girl, what was her name? Roxanne, was it? Sheila is basically almost the main character after the sheriff and Wingshausen. There's nothing to her. You can make up all the crap you want. There's nothing to her at all. I mean, there's a subplot with her dad and his son for, I want to say for no reason, but then that just makes, I could see Quintin going, well, yes, that's why I made it. No reason. But there's no reason to it. There's no characters. There's no point. And I was going to give it a 5 out of 10, but talking about it with you has made me dislike it even more. But I think I'm going to give it a 5 still because, yeah, I like how it looks. It's very interesting to watch a film shot on a camera that you once owned, and the camera work is quite good. The music's really good, although I liked Mr. Wazoo anyway. So I'm going to stick with 5. 5 out of 10.
You, sir, are a hard man to please.
I am not. I like saurians.
Yes, but that movie is excellent. But alas, for now at least, we need to stay with Rubber. Being a tire, I was obviously always going to like this film, but I didn't just like it, I loved it. I liked the surrealist aspect, I liked the anti-Hollywood message, and I liked the humor throughout the film. It looked great, it sounded great, I liked the special effects of the heads exploding. And of course, I fucking loved Robert. His performance was breathtaking, and I do genuinely feel that he should have got an Oscar for this film. So, like a cat, I am giving it an 8 out of 10, and I did toy with the idea of going higher. If it didn't have the scene with the accountant eating his own poisoned food, and if we'd have seen a montage scene of the chaos and carnage of the 3-day massacre, then it could have easily been a 9 out of 10 movie. But it's a high 8 for me.
There we go.
So, 5 out of 10, and 8 out of 10, gives an average CKFC rating of 6.5 out of 10. Which puts it on the film chart just above Moon, which got 6 out of 10.
Clearly a worse movie than Moon.
No way, Jose. I know Trevor got quite a lot of stick for his opinions on Moon, but I have to say that I agree with him.
Yeah, sure you do.
Oh shit. Trevor also said that we have to do a draw for next week's film?
Yeah, we've got to do next week's pick, but I haven't got the random generator. Have you got it there?
I don't know.
Can you use your telekinesis and, make it go off?
I don't have telekinesis, unless I can learn how to do it on air, right now.
Yeah, why not? Have a go at it. It's what Robert would have wanted.
No, I do not think I can do this. Hopefully Trevor can do it and add it in later.
Right, it's me again. Still in the jacuzzi, but I've turned the bubbles off this time because it's too noisy. Basically, picking next week's film I hear is a problem. You can't use the number generator because it's on my phone. So I've just done it, but I'm using my phone to record this, so I can't show you me doing it, but I'll put it up on the screen in a fancy little thing. The number was number 1, so don't know what film it is. I'm gonna go swimming. Deal with it yourselves.
Thank fuck for the magic of video editing. Number 1 is Michelle Hawkins' pick, which is The Departed from 2006.
Oh, The Departed. Not seen that since 2006. Martin Scorsese, his first Oscar win, quite universally known as the Oscars finally giving him one rather than it being the quality of the film, even though I like The Departed. It's a remake. You don't like remakes?
How do you know?
Trevor doesn't, sorry. I don't know about you. Don't really like you, Cecil.
Well, fuck you then. I'm off.
Fine, fuck you, go on. Sling your tyre hook. What does sling your hook mean? Where's that come from? There's no one there to talk to me. It's like most days when I'm alone, just talking to myself. Sling your hook. I bet that probably, guess, it comes from like an old game where you'd sling your hook. That's what I think. Maybe Trevor can look it up and put the real explanation here. Anyway, he's gone, that Cecil. Fuck him. So I guess next week we're going to be doing The Departed. So I'll see you then. Follow us on the Facebook at just Facebook search Cool Kids Film Club. It'll come up. And we're Cool Kids Film Club on the Twitters probably. And what other social things are there? The Instagram, which I've just set up, but I forgot the password, so I've got to redo that. What other social things are there? What do the kids use? The Snaps, chats. Oh, you got Trevor set up a TikTok. That's probably Cool Kids Film Club. You probably find it with that. I don't know much about TikTok. It's just people doing karaoke, isn't it? I don't know. We're on Bebo and MySpace under Cool Kids Film Club. and we're on bulletin boards at your local church and on various lists that mean we can't go near schools. So I'll see you next week. Bye. Is that a good outro? I'm done.
This is the Cool Kids Film Club podcast. Watch films with